Oh my God, it sounds so much more quieter than the music. I recorded this once and the music was too loud and it was going over my voice, so I turned the music off. Oh my God. Um, let's get into this, right? Duck cancels. Um, this is the most important thing to learn, Steve, in my opinion. There are Steves that are at high level that don't have good duck cancels, and those Steves are carried by +5, and the Lions hurt 50-50. And when that shit gets removed from the game, they're fucked. They're gonna be in, they're gonna lose so many fucking games. A lot of Steves are carried right now. It makes me very sad about the current state of the character. But +5 in the Lion's Heart will get removed one day. And when that happens, I will laugh as a bunch of Steve mains lose elo, lose rank because they're fucking carried pieces of shit. Now, let's get into proper Steve gameplay. I'm and yeah, let's get into this. Duck is very neutral. I mean, is very huge. Not neutral. What the fuck? Duck is very huge for Steve. It's very huge for Steve. In Tekken 4, Tekken 5, Steve was kind of unique because he had weave. Also, he had no kicks, obviously. But weave is kind of what made Steve neutral. Only him and Xiao Yu had the ability to sidestep and have some evasion. In Tekken 4 and Tekken 5, it evaded mids, which was really good. In Tekken 6, they got rid of that and they introduced duck cancel. And this is when Steve became Steve, in my opinion. They were still figuring out how they wanted Steve to function in those earlier Tekkens. Tekken 6 is when Steve became Steve, and that's the introduction of the duck cancel. Very huge for Steve. It's huge for combos. Oh my god, it sounds so bad without the music. It sounds so bad without the music. It sounds so goofy. It sounds so bad. I'm gonna turn voices off too. You guys are just gonna stuck hearing my stupid ass voice. Um, but yeah, it's essential for Steve combos, as you just saw. It was, in Steve's staple combo is a duck cancel. It's essential for Steve's neutral as it makes unsafe moves on block safe. This is -11 on block. With a duck cancel, it becomes -4, making it safe. This is -10 on block. Duck cancel makes it safe. This is -12 on block. Duck cancel makes it safe. These are really big. These moves in particular are really big for Steve's neutral. So if you have a good duck cancel, Steve can open you up a lot easier. One last thing, duck cancel into while standing 1 and while standing 2-2 are very nice moves when you're pressuring with Steve. People are going to look to sidestep you to the left a lot, and when you duck cancel in the while standing 1 or while standing 2, it has not full tracking. You can step these moves, however, your sidestep needs to be perfect or else this will track you. It's very nice. I have a whole video kind of talking about Steve's wall pressure, and I really put the emphasis on the importance of wall standing 1. I think it's one of Steve's most important moves in neutral. And the way that you get a lot more value out of it is if you duck cancel. I'm sorry, I am sick. I'm trying my best not to cough, but I'm going to cough occasionally. So yeah, there's that, and let's just get into the duck cancel on what it should look like visually. Steve's duck is very fluid, right? That's what it looks like with no duck cancel. With a duck cancel, it looks like this. And it's that simple. We're canceling a duck into crouch, holding back the block. The way you go about doing this is obviously initiate duck by doing F3 or F4. I like to do F3. You're going to do down back in order to go into crouch block, and you're going to hold back the block. So, doing it super slow motion, it looks like this. Let's look at it. Let's look at it in full motion. That's what it looks like in full motion. And when you're first learning this, I want you to look at Steve, look at him in his normal duck animation. It's very fluid, it's one motion. However, when you duck cancel, you kind of see how his lead foot, this is kind of the big one when you're first learning him. The duck cancel, his lead foot slides back and it goes into his crouch animation. And eventually, you're not going to visually confirm anything with Steve. You're going to have the timing down so good that you're not going to like look for this, and it's just going to kind of become like a natural motion for you. But when you're first learning them, right, we all have our starting off points. This is kind of the important thing to start off with, right? Is just get that motion down. Now, let's get into um, once you have that motion down and you're familiar with it and you're confident that you want to test it, you're going to set your opponent action to standing block. You're going to set their action after hit or block to punish. You're going to set their punishment settings to their fast mid attack. I recommend using Kazuya for this. Most people's quickest mid is 13 frames. Kazuya is kind of special because his quickest mid is 12 frames. And the reason why that's so important is because it forces you to have a tighter duck cancel window. We're going to start off with down 2-1 into a duck cancel. So we're going to do down 2-1, obviously. Normally, you're going to be minus 11 after this, meaning that you'd be susceptible for flash punch, but not the 12 frame mid. Let's not like worry about that. Let's just keep this in a vacuum right now. You're going to duck cancel. You're going to block it. Kazuya is minus 13 after this gets blocked, so you're going to punish. So the starting off motion is down 2-1, duck cancel, and you're going to punish with 2-2. You can do back 1-2 as well, but I like 2-2 punish. It does more damage. So, and we're just going into this. Get this motion down, and you're just going to be able, like, try and go for like 10 times to be able to block this and punish it. It's not too hard once you get the motion down. I got my inputs on the left side of the screen, so you can kind of see exactly how I'm doing this. Right, you can even see, like, when I block it, I just start mashing 2-2. So that's your starting motion. This is going to get your foot in the door. This is going to allow you to use Steve's best low poke and make it safe on block. And think about that. How many characters have a safe low on block? I can't name too many, but Steve is one of them. Pretty fucking nice, okay? Now, we're going to move on. We're going to set opponent action, change conditions to 4 or more hits on block, and this is going to be kind of Steve's tightest duck cancel window. You're going to be doing 1-2-1-2, which is minus 10 on block, so it's unsafe unless you duck cancel. And once again, after 1-2-1-2, you're going to duck, hold down back, and block. And you're probably going to see me get hit a couple times here. Let's see. Oh shit, I didn't even duck cancel that time. I blocked that one. Oh shit. Blocked that one. There we go, I got hit that time. See, this one's a pretty tight window. This is the hardest one to duck cancel on block. You're seeing I'm getting hit a couple times too. I'm getting hit a lot now. There we go. And yeah, you just want to be able to, once again, there we go, I'm getting the timing down again. This is like I just woke up, so my timing's not perfect. But, right, you're just going to be doing exactly what I do, just like last time. Wait, 1-2-1-2. And you're just going to try and go for like 10 times in a row. 1-2-1-2, watch it. Bang. And be able to do that 10 times in a row. Just like with Steve's down 2-1, there is a reason that we're doing this. Steve wants to do 1-2-3 and kind of get flicker pressure going, right? However, if you're not doing 1-2-1-2, they're just going to mash into you every single time you do 1-2-1-2. I mean, 1-2-3. I mean, sorry, 1-2-1 and 2 pressure. Right? They're going to look to contest you at flicker. By doing 1-2-1-2 and showing that you're competent with duck canceling in the block, people are going to respect your 1-2-1 because they're going to fear the follow-up that's safe on block. And it's going to allow you to open people up with Steve, kind of build up mental frames and be able to pressure people with flicker, right? Then you can do 1-2-1. Maybe you'll go in the grab. Maybe you'll do 1-2-1, down back cancel, and the down back one. I mean, into full crouch DF1. Maybe you'll do 1-2-1 into QCB 2+4, right? Get some sort of pressure going off your jab string. But the way you go about it is you need to make people you need to show that you're going to do 1-2-1-2 and keep yourself safe. Because if you do 1-2-1-2 and you don't keep yourself safe, then they're just going to block and punish you for 1-2-1-2. So there's that. There's that. And now let's go into the next one, the final one. We're going to get comfortable with that motion. Do it 10 times in a row. I'd recommend 30 for both of them, to be honest. But get comfortable with that motion, try and do them 10 times in a row, and then move on to the next one. And this is your final one. We're going to build a lot of variations of this, and we're going to try and simulate what happens in a real match with this one, which is we're going to do DF2 into duck cancel. This is a looser window than 1-2-1-2, so just get comfortable with the motion, right? This is a counter hit. This is a big counter hit for Steve. And earlier Tekkens, Tekken 7 especially, we had Shiro combo, so this was a launcher on counter hit. Not that case anymore. Very sad. But no, well, it is still a launcher on counter hit, but you have to have a just frame in order to do it. And I don't recommend going for it in an online setting where there's lag and shit, because unlike Brian's taunt jet upper, where if that shit gets blocked, you're -7. Steve is launch punishable if he fucks up this just frame. So I'm not going to teach the just frame. DF2, right? You're just going to block, punish with 2-2. Right? Once you're comfortable with that motion, I want to set counter hit. I'm going to turn on counter hit. I'm going to get rid of block, and you're going to be doing DF2. You're going to duck cancel and the while standing 2-2. This is a pretty tight frame, and actually, what makes it easy is I have sound effects and music volume turned off. I'm going to turn sound effects back on. If you are able to audioly confirm that counter hit noise, right, it becomes way easier, right? So, you know, don't fuck with your sound settings. I'm fucking with my sound settings for the purpose of recording this. But you hear that counter hit sound effect, bam, you're good. And just get comfortable with that motion, right? Once you're able to do it, I recommend like 30. I genuinely recommend like 30. I'm going to set, yeah, once you get it like 30 times in a row, set your opponent to random block, right? And now, if it gets blocked, you're going to block and punish. If it lands, and it's a counter hit, while standing 2-2. And once again, go for like 20 or 30 times. Just get this motion down. It gets blocked, that's what it looks like. Counter hit? That's not what it looks like. Counter hit, that's what that looks like, right? So bam, you're good. And now, we're going to set it to shuffle on counter hit. And this simulates the conditions of a real game when you really think about it. When you throw out DF2, sometimes you throw out a move and you know it's going to be a counter hit. But a lot of the times you throw it out and, you know, it's not a Hail Mary because it's safe on block. You're taking a safe risk. But you're throwing it out and you don't know if it's going to be a counter hit. You don't know if it's going to get blocked, right? And this kind of simulates conditions of a real game. You're going to have to react to what happens on the fly. So if it gets blocked, you're going to duck cancel and block. If it's a counter hit, you're going to have to be able to react and do while standing 2-2. And if it's a normal hit, oh my god, give me a normal hit. Let me turn off block for a quick second, just for the sake of recording. Oh my god. There we go. In the case of a normal hit, just go in the while standing 1. That's what I like. You can do while standing 2-2 on normal hit, but you need to know the risks of while standing 2-2 getting blocked. So I like while standing 1 because if it gets blocked, you're -3. Steve can make pressure off of -3 by setting up weaves and eventually conditioning them to go for something slower on minus frames, and then you can back 1 them. So a normal hit. Oh my god, just give me a normal hit. This is crazy. Oh my god. On normal hit, just go for while standing 1. Right? And now, just like last time, this simulates the conditions of a real game. So this one, you don't try to go for it like 30 times in a row. You don't try to go for it 100 times in a row. You do this all the time. You do this all the time because this is the closest thing that we can get for simulating a real game for Steve. And you can have this shit like nice and crispy. Right? So, this is what it's going to look like. Do I have them set the... No, I do have them set the random block. Oh my god. Let one of them get through. I know it's set the random block, but come on. Right? This is what it's going to look like, and you're just going to try and get it consistent as possible. You can even see, right? I'm not going for while standing 2-2 anymore. I'm kind of going for while standing 1-2. There we go, while standing 2-2. Dude, my RNG is going crazy right now. The block is happening way more on random block right now. But that's what it's going to look like. And just do it over and over and over and over again. I was doing this when I was first learning Steve, and it's something I still do all the time now when I'm in between games and ranked. Um, it's huge. It's huge. This is the Doug cancel. This is the most important thing about Steve. Once again, I was talking about it earlier. +5 in the Lion's Heart will go away one day. Steve will be a respectable character again one day. He's a respectable character now, but he's not as respectable as he should be because of +5 in the Lion's Heart. And when that crutch gets kicked out of under people, a lot of Steve mains are going to start losing because they refuse to learn this. So yeah, Steve Essentials. This is the Duck Cancel. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Master this if you want to learn Steve. Master this shit. Okay, peace.